danger.
So, but are we being naive here? Is it so ingrained in certain parts of the world, for example, Asia, that we should accept it? It's part of the game, just like diving and cheating and embellishing is.
It ain't part of anybody's DNA to be corrupt and things. Just pay the players. If you're FIFA, you take your $8 million or your $9 million that they're right now giving to the National Football Associations and say, you know what, you'll get half of that. Because, you know, you do deserve some money, you do deserve to develop your game, you do deserve your salaries as well if you're the president of these football associations. We're going to take this other $4 or $5 million and we're going to pay the players directly. So just before the World Cup, we want the bank accounts of all the players, and we're going to give them $50,000 just for being there. We're going to give them $10,000 every goal they score, $30,000 if the guy has a shutout. You get on to the next round, you get a whole bunch more cash. Football Association and the players. So you break the essential dynamic of a young player. Just imagine them running into a stadium, looking around thinking, you know what, someone's making an awful lot of cash here, and it ain't me.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Stop that dynamic. And there's a second thing that can be done at these big tournaments. As you heard, UEFA has established an integrity unit, partly on my book, partly because they want to stop this problem. FIFA still doesn't have an integrity unit. Still doesn't have a bunch of security guys. So what happens in this World Cup? I mean, you know, I don't like to think of the scenario, but let's say the fixers approach a guy from, I don't know, Honduras. And the guy from Honduras is honest, as I expect that they all will be. Now what does he do? Like, who does he talk to? Like, does he talk to his soccer association, the same guys that haven't paid him his bonus for qualifying for the World Cup? Like, what does he do?
Where does he go?
Where does he go? There's no hotline, there's no integrity unit set up for these guys.
Some of these association heads, though, are involved too. They're complicit in it. Some of the top men, perhaps not in the top leagues in the world, but certainly in Asia, some of these presidents, associations are complicit in some of these match fixing as well.
Look, I've never seen direct evidence of that. I've never seen the fixers paying off the presidents and stuff. What I have seen is presidents of soccer associations not paying their players properly and setting up the conditions where suddenly they're open to this kind of stuff. And that's what I'm saying. It's so simple. I've come out with the announcement, j'accuse FIFA, 6 weeks before the start of the World Cup. We could put in place, Blatter and his team could put in place a system now. The World Cup starts on June the 11th. There's still time. Look, it's so frustrating. It's mind-bogglingly frustrating. South Africa, just give you this example. South Africa has spent billions of dollars building stadiums, completing tourism infrastructure, doing all this stuff. They still haven't figured out a contract for their players.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
Duh!
Yeah.
And how many strikes have those South African national team players gone on in the last 5 years? How many of their best players are refusing to play for them because they get exploited? How many of their senior South African Soccer Association guys have been implicated in scandals? I invite your viewers, just Google what I've just said. It's so simple.
And there's a petition on your website, I believe?
There's a petition on my website.
To get our, the football fan around the world in FIFA's face saying there is a problem here and it can be fixed.
It's
you
very
outlined
easy.
just 2 or 3 reasons there. There's many more reasons and many more solutions too. Big scandal right now in UK with Lord Trisman, who has resigned from his post as the head of England's 2018 World Cup bid. He was caught on tape talking to a young lady, not so young actually, who he was at one point apparently having an affair with. He said off the cuff, well, I've heard that Spain are trying to pay off referees at this year's World Cup by using the Russians. Firestorm of media jumps all over Lord Trisman, but what I can't believe is there's so few stories out there actually saying, well, maybe what he's saying is true. Should we not be investigating that? Is that a concern to you? I mean,
absolutely,
this is Spain, European champions. And reading this book, I wouldn't put anything past any association.
Look, again, I try not to speculate on this thing, but this is the frustrating thing. And Trisman affair is an absolute case in point. There's no body out there to investigate this. And some of the lazy excuses for sports journalists have reported this story as FIFA's ethics committee investigates Trisman's claims. They're not investigating Trisman's claims. They're investigating Trisman and whether those comments will affect the 2018 World Cup bid of England. So they completely skipped aside what he actually is reported as saying. The thing that worried me about this claim that he made, or this, he had heard these stories, was it exactly the same pattern of corruption that we've seen before in international sporting tournaments? 2002, Salt Lake City Olympic, we know there was fixing going on. We know the FBI has identified the Russian godfather that had close connections with their sporting administration that was arranging fixes for the French Federation. Is it just coincidence that we see exactly the same pattern in Treisman's allegation? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But at this moment, there's no one that can investigate it. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, there's one Canadian journalist. Like,
right.
Like
yeah,
that's
it's incredible, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
and
sorry,
you know now
it's extraordinary.
That during the World Cup, all eyes will be on Spain. And if there's any dodgy refereeing calls, straight away we're going to think, well, perhaps Lord Treisman was saying the truth. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, but it's possible, isn't it?
You have hit the nub of the problem. The credibility of the world's biggest sporting tournament is hanging on a knife's edge. And I defy any of our viewers, and I don't want to be saying this. I'd love to be sitting here praising FIFA. But a month from now, we're going to be watching those games and we're going to see something. And probably be an honest mistake. Might be like the referees with the Terry Henry handball against Ireland. You know, just didn't catch it. It's too fast for them. They don't have cameras, whatever. and we'll be sitting there and we'll be like, was that an honest mistake or not? And as soon as you have that, there's a great quote from one of baseball's commissioners, Bud Selig, who talking about the Pete Rose gambling thing, and he says, I don't want fans of baseball thinking there's no such thing as a coincidence.
Wow. Credibility
of our game, the beautiful game, hanging in the balance, and it should not be. It must not be. We can lose this. And as a man who's risked his life to defend this game, I'm so frustrated that 18 months after I came out, after I exposed these guys, after I put my flesh and blood on the line, these guys are still playing games about the safety and credibility of our sport.
As part of this book at the beginning, you write how sometimes in Asia, before going to bed at night, you'd unscrew the light bulb in the ceiling, you'd move around the furniture in the room, because you didn't know perhaps there would be some hitman coming to sort you out.
Sometimes.
Every night, was it?
Yeah, listen, these guys
it's incredible.
They're not screwing around.
Yeah.
Like, they're really not screwing around.
You were a huge fan of the sport. Are you still a huge fan of the sport? Can you watch this World Cup starting June 11th and enjoy it? Or are you going to be thinking the entire time, something wrong here?
You know, it's not that. It's when you see something weird. It's when you see something. And I'll tell you a great thing. Just after the book, after we'd submitted the book to Platini, I was watching Porto, the Portuguese champions. And as you know, they've got a long history. I think their guy was under investigation at the time, and UEFA had let them back in the Champions League. And I'm watching the game, and I switch it off. I'm just like, I can't tell. 3 weeks later, after Platini and the guys had shown they were serious about the fight against corruption, I started watching those games again, being able to take them seriously. Again, a frustrating thing. I think any of our viewers can sit there and run their eye down a list of teams, of games, and saying, this is one that'll be red flagged. This is one that I'll be careful of. We shouldn't have to do this. We just shouldn't have to do it.
The book is The Fix, Soccer and Organised Crime. It's not only a fascinating read, it's a very important read, I think, for all sports fans, not just soccer fans. So I implore you to buy this. Declan Hill, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.